Alrighty, welcome back to the Brown Balls podcast. We are on episode 23, the GOAT, 23 of Michael Jordan. How
Yep.
you doing, Kenil?
Good, brother. How are you?
Good, man. Exciting playoff weekend. A lot of upsets, a lot of close games. It lived up to the hype that we thought it was going to be. And a lot of surprises. I was very surprised by a couple of games, honestly.
Man, honestly, yeah, my team was one of them. It was a close game. It was tough.
Let's start there.
Yeah. So
So
much unwind,
Eagles, the Eagles beating the Rams 28-2. This game should have been over in the fourth, but the Rams made a comeback by a few Eagle mistakes. Jalen Hurts looked normal. I know he was a little hobbled towards the end. Matthew Stafford looked pretty good, but then they had some pretty bad fumbles and all that stuff that affected it. So I head out to you, man. What do you think of the Rams, Eagles? I know it didn't go your way, but you felt good about how the Rams played, right?
I mean, the game was good, right? Obviously, like everyone predicted the whole week, it was going to be a snow game. But honestly, I didn't expect it a snow game, right? I thought it would be like it will snow before. You'll see some ice on the field here and there, but man, it started like dropping like straight up cloud, man. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
First quarter was okay. Second quarter, that's when you started seeing like snow dropping like crazy. The field was covered and like I don't know, man. This game was good. I felt good with the Rams the way it was going towards, right? Like our defense was playing well. Our offense was good, but not great.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of catches that Puka just dropped, in the second half. Cooper
and
Kupp.
Higbee.
Yeah, Tyler Higbee dropped couple. Cooper Kupp again. I don't know what they gotta address that. So, was he injured or? I mean, I know that like for the past 5 games, Cooper Kupp has just been running and not catching anything. The ball has not been thrown to him at all. Like there was no attempts for Cooper Kupp, So I don't know if there's something going on with him and Matthew Stafford. They're not on the same page or what. But like our offense was a little off. But again, Eagles' offense was off too. I don't know if you saw it, but AJ Brown didn't have a big game. Devontae Smith didn't have a good game either. Like I said, last week going into the game, as long as the Rams don't give up the big plays, let Saquon do Saquon stuff, but don't let him go off for a big run. And that's what ended up happening. He had 2 long runs for a touchdown, right? And then not even that. In the first quarter, Jalen Hurts went for like a 50 or 40-yard run by himself to score a touchdown, initial touchdown, and then Saquon did it, and Saquon did it in the fourth quarter. Game was there, man. If you would have told me, for example, like when football season started, that, hey, look, this is a scenario. You're in the divisional game. You're playing at Philadelphia. It's a snow game. And you're down by 6 with 2.5 minutes to go. But only thing is that Rams have the ball. You're down by 6. Rams have the ball, 2.5 minutes to go. I will take that 10 out of 10. Because you have Matthew Stafford, you have Puka, you have Cooper, you have Tyler Higbee on your side. I believe we can go down and score, and I've seen that so much. Even Sean McVay said it, this game should have been, 29-28. We should have won this game by 1, I mean, Matthew Stafford made an incredible throw in the fourth quarter, and Puka caught it. It was like a 40-yarder, and like that got us into like inside the 25 yards. And I think what ended up happening is that we had no timeout. It was a snow game. We couldn't hear anything. And then we had a false start. So it was, let me take you back. So it was like 1st and 10. There was a good run drive. So it was like 2nd and 3rd. And then there was a false start. Then Matthew Stafford took a sack. And then one of their defensive player named Jalen, I forgot his full name, but he's a defensive player. He's good. Who sacked him, right? That came through. I don't know why Rams did not double team him.
That dude looked the other way. The rookie looked the other way. He just let him walk right through.
I don't know why they didn't double him. I mean,
yeah.
Now it's
Jalen
coming
Carter
out that
is the one person you want to look out for.
But the thing is this, now it's coming out. If you look at that sack, if somehow Matthew Stafford would have got at least 1 second out of it or 2 seconds out of it, Tyler Higbee was open because his man slipped, and he was gonna go down for a touchdown. And so it comes down to like really like small little things, right? If you would have, I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just sad that I even as a Rams fan, I felt that we had this game. Even down 2 touchdowns, like down 13 actually. I remember you texting me during the game, down 13 with 4 minutes to go. You're like, man, the game's over because Saquon ran for 80 yards for a
Yeah.
touchdown, right? And you're like, man, I'm sorry, but the game is over now. I'm like, no. Matthew Stafford came down the field and scored within a minute and a half, and we still had our 3 timeouts, and then we end up getting the ball back with down 6. So all in all, man, I mean, I give it up to the Eagles. They played well, but I'll tell you right now, man, I don't feel Eagles beat us. I think Rams lost this game.
100%. Yeah.
100%. So I just
So here's the interesting stat, right? So all the 4 teams that lost yesterday
I
and
know.
Saturday had the
Yep.
most yards, had the most yards, right? So
That's
all those teams that lost shot themselves in the leg essentially.
crazy.
So it was 15 and 19 in the fourth. And I was texting you, I'm like, hey dude, like they just need to get a touchdown here is game over. They're not gonna be able to run the ball, all these things, and that's when Kyron Williams had the fumble. And that was probably the pivotal point. Like him fumbling the ball there was the worst time to have a fumble. And I know he also has been a fumble heavy person this whole year.
And he came after a safety.
Yeah. And then you also had
Matthew
then you
Stafford
had Matthew
fumbling.
Stafford fumbling the ball too. And then that play with Jalen Carter, honestly, like
There you go.
if
Yeah.
you watch that replay, that rookie just completely ignores him. The center ignores him, just looks left, and then the guy has a wide open lane. And Jalen Carter is a Pro Bowler, so why would you not focus on
You
the
gotta
main Pro
know
Bowler?
your assignment, man.
Exactly. And so that right there was the end. Obviously, like whatever happens in fourth down, they're not going to convert it. But that was a very, very close game. I do agree with you. I think the Rams lost this game more than the Eagles won it. The Eagles were begging for this game to be a blowout. Honestly, especially the first, second quarter, they were not looking good at all. Even though when they went up, I think it was 13 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
The Rams were just field goaling it nonstop, and just like you got to go for it. You got to make the big plays. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles didn't look very surprising to me, honestly.
So put it this way: Jalen Hurts scores the first touchdown, right? He goes down
Mhm.
or 7-6-0 because they missed the extra point. And then Matthew Stafford goes down and does score 7-6, take the lead. And then the next 2 possessions in the red zone, I really have no idea what the hell they did. They traded field goals. They played safe and not went for what Dan Quinn did. If that was Dan Quinn, he'll be like, no, let's go score. Honestly, out of those 2 field goals, if we would have went for one of them and converted and got a touchdown out of it, you would want to take that 7/3 anytime. That 4 more points, And the thing is, in NFL, man, you cannot trade field goals with touchdowns. You just can't. You can't keep on hitting field goals, man. Teams are always going to be in it, And
they have to have the mindset. Yeah, the mindset the Commanders had against the Lions is what the Rams should have had too. Like, hey, we're underdog. We shouldn't be this far into the playoffs, right? Like, we should have been out in the first round because the Vikings were so great. We beat them. Like, they should have had that same mindset. Like, let's just go for it. The fourth down, let's go for it. Let's try it out. We have Matthew Stafford. We have Puka, like everyone's healthy. Let's go for it, And I think that's the one thing that he was not very aggressive in it. I mean, again, granted, they had a one last shot in the ending drive, just didn't convert it. But it should not have been that close. Honestly, the Rams should, if they had played as aggressive as they played against the Vikings, if they had played that level of aggressiveness, they would have won this game by a lot. Like, and I remember I was telling him, like, the Rams need to score a bunch of points before it starts snowing, because then the ball will be more slippery, and everyone's gonna not want to throw. And obviously, Matthew Stafford, I'm not worried about him in the snow because he played in Detroit, so he's used to that stuff.
Exactly.
But like other LA players, they might not be used to it, right?
They're not, man.
And that's what happened. Puka dropped the ball in big games, and so did Higbee. So like, they should have tried to at least go for a couple of those before the snow started happening and get a bigger lead. And then you kind of force the Eagles to start running the ball. And they were shutting down Saquon pretty well until that big play. Saquon was kind of being held pretty well, honestly.
We played well.
He probably would have had like a 100-yard game, honestly, if it wasn't for that breakaway touchdown.
Yeah. And then at the same time, man, look, Rams played almost to a perfect game, like perfect. We had a safety, you know. We sacked them in a safety, you know, and there I think everything went downhill after that because I texted you, right? I'm like, this game, the way that this game is going, the first team to make a mistakes is gonna lose this game.
And
And
that's when Kyron Williams had the fumble.
and then the thing was with Kyron Williams, right? Like, why are you know it's a snow game, you know
Yeah.
everything's slippery.
Yeah.
Go with 2 hands. I mean, come on, man, let's go. And then you know what was the worst part about it? He fumbled on their side.
Yeah,
It wasn't even on the. It wasn't on our side at all. It was on their
side. He had a good run and got the first down, and you fumbled.
Exactly, he had a first down. You know, and it was a similar game that we're gonna talk about later, which Ravens and Bills. Same shit happened too.
Yeah,
you know, but but that's what I'm saying. You couldn't ask for a better game, you know. But but this is what I'm saying. I'm not look. This is the thing. I'm not upset that Rams lost, but I'm just upset at the fact that we gave this game away. You know.
Yeah.
And the thing is this. Especially Detroit losing and knowing that you have a chance to host a championship game at home. And, you know, honestly, I have all the respect for Commanders, which we'll get into. But it's Commanders, you know. I mean, I don't want to take it too lightly, but at the same time, you know, they haven't been there either. You know, you're going to be having a home game against Commanders in LA. Rams were going to be heavy favorites.
For sure.
It's an easy walk to Super Bowl. I'll be honest with you. Easy. Whatever happens, who are they facing? Super Bowl is a different story, but it's an easy walk to the Super Bowl. And I don't know, man. I'm just honestly, I'm not recovered yet, man. Tapas, to be honest with you, because the thing is this, right? The thing is this. The reason why I have so much confidence in Matthew Stafford is because we were up 28-3 2 years ago against Tampa Bay, against the GOAT, against Tom Brady. Tom Brady brought that team back and tied that game up. Or took the lead by 1, whatever the case they did, you know. And we only had a minute and a half at that time. And Matthew Stafford was confident and threw that ball down the field, and Cooper Kupp got that, and we got a field goal out of it. We won that game. We went into Tampa, and I feel, to be honest with you, that Tampa team is better than Eagles are because they have Tom Brady, they have better defensive players. Because you have Dominic and Sue, and you guys had a couple other players that are really good. And then you're all, and I feel like their offense, Mike Evans, Tom Godwin, and they had, and I think Antonio Brown might be on that team or not, but I think he was on that team too.
That was the year where he had the things that he
had that meltdown. Yeah. And so I'm just saying, we did that against. So that's what I'm saying. Tapas, we had no timeouts, but we had plenty of time. 2.5 minutes left. Matthew Stafford has a ball, like. You knew that it's kind of like saying like you're down by 2. Steph Curry has a ball with 20 seconds to go. You know for a fact that Steph Curry's gonna come through, like that with that 3-pointer. You know, so it's like when they were in 20 yards line and we had like about a minute left still. I'm like, take your time.
Yeah,
take your time.
Yeah, they did a good job. I mean, the only part that hurt them was because they were doing hurry up offense and they weren't taking timeouts. They couldn't do any substitutions. The Eagles couldn't, so their defense was getting tired.
Exactly.
And then you had that sack play, which is when they were able to get everybody switched out. Like that also kind of hurt them too in the 4th down because of the sack, and they can switch over players. So like that, but yeah, I mean the Rams had a very very good drive going, and they had the game in the bag. Honestly, I think Sean McVay was trying to find the right amount of time to score a touchdown, get the 1 point, and then not give the Eagles enough time to get the ball back and then go for a Hail Mary and thing. But
I know
that
exactly
one play,
because
dude.
It was 1 minute and 14 seconds, and it was 1st and 10 on their 20. And I knew they didn't want to they want to waste time too. And then they kind of messed that up, the whole sequence, man. Honestly, I'll tell you right now, Jalen Carter. If I am the coach for the Eagles, if I'm the GM and everyone, I will give flowers to Jalen Carter because that's his name, right? The defensive end or whatever. Yeah. He literally saved the whole organization.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel the coach was gonna be fired. I feel they would have traded AJ Brown away. They would have done so much shit with this if they would have lost that game because
the kicker imagine they lose this game. AJ Brown's gonna throw a fit. Like what do you mean I only got two catches and 14 yards in this all this game? Like he's gonna throw a fit.
Exactly, man. Dude, I'm sorry, Jalen Carter saved them basically with that sack.
Yeah.
If that sack never happened, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think the other Rams news was Cooper Cup. I mean, I know we talked about him a little bit. He was pretty much not really a no show in this game and in the last few weeks as well. He was asked about what his future with the Rams is going to be, and he's like, "I'm not really quite sure what it's going to be. They might let him go or whatever." What happened with Cooper Cup, man? Like, I mean, this guy was a Triple Crown winner, and all of a sudden now he's not even getting any touches. Like, what's going on? I mean, I would think the Rams would want to keep him because he's still a very, very good receiver. No?
Look, man, I'll tell you right now, right? Ever since Sean McVay took this Rams team over, we haven't had a chemistry with coaches because we always had our assistant coach become head coach, right? And they left. I think this is gonna be the first year that we can actually say that no defensive coordinator, no offensive coordinator are going for interviews. So we're gonna bring back that chemistry that we need for coaches, right? And another thing is that this is actually first year going with the new defensive scheme and new defensive system without Aaron Donald. Played well. No one knew what Rams defense was going to be about. Everyone's young and they're all coming back, right? So we're going to have chemistry there. Offensively, this is the second year that Cooper Cup and Puka are played together with Matthew Stafford. And so the thing is this, Cooper Cup's contract is $29 million, right? Which is non-guaranteed. I think they'll cut him. And then they'll try to renegotiate a new contract with him, hopefully.
Why would he want to come back if he's not getting any looks?
That's the thing they got to work on. I don't know what happened there, to be honest with you, man. The last 5 weeks, like, he has not got no attempts at all. And so I don't know I don't know if they were just Puka heavy or what they were trying to do.
But I mean, they're really forcing into Puka. Honestly, there were some plays where it should have been intercepted, and because Stafford was trying to go to Puka so badly, that luckily it didn't get intercepted. But yeah, they were really heavy going to Puka and just.
I'm surprised that Matthew Stafford didn't go to Cooper in that kind of weather because he has a chemistry with them. He's been with them Super Bowl. He won Super Bowl with them. He caught the Super Bowl touchdown that won the game for us. So in that type of weather, I'm surprised he didn't become like a Wes Walker for Tom Brady.
Exactly.
Or like where
you go to reliable receivers.
Exactly. Or Adam. Like, I don't know what happened, man. But so they gotta get that clear. I do agree with you that they gotta bring Cooper Cup back.
Yeah, they should.
It would be horrible if we let him go and he signs with somewhere else. I mean, just ask the Giants what they did, right? They let Saquon walk, and like, look what Saquon's doing, breaking all kinds of records. Look, Cooper Cup is still young enough where he can still, have that type of, game stats. So, but I do feel that we need another athletic, like T. Higgins kind of player who can flat out run out and like just catch that ball, I mean, Puka can do that, but I'm saying like you need more of an athletic type of player, right? And Cooper Cup is not that anymore. And Puka is definitely Puka is more of like acrobatic kind of catch,
Yeah, he's a strong receiver, not a fast receiver.
Exactly, and so, but I do feel that they're gonna, I think, cut. They're not gonna trade Cooper, but they're gonna. I think they might cut him. Restructure the contract maybe somehow, some way, But but they gotta see what happened between him and Stafford. I don't know why there was no attempts. I mean, if there was attempts and he didn't catch, then that's another thing. Right. But he had no attempts towards his side, man.
Yeah.
Well, he played well. With that one catch he had, that was like a 30-yarder. Was great. He caught the ball, So,
yeah.
Man.
And just to give the Eagles some flowers too, they played a hell of a game, and Jalen Hurts, despite being visibly injured, he stayed in the game. I remember, I think I was texting you. I was like, dude, they're gonna have to put Kenny Pickett in because he looked so hobbled out there. Jalen Hurts gutted it out. Barely could run, but he was able to run to the side, get some good first downs, and I think that Saquon run and Jalen Carter sack completely saved the day for them. Otherwise, it was going to be just a bunch of drama in Philly for sure.
Isn't it crazy, man? I know people are going to say, what is he talking about? Only 3 Eagles actually had an impact on that game. Saquon, Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Carter. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
Of all the other Pro Bowlers out
Nobody
there,
had
everything.
Impact.
Yeah.
Only 3 players had impact. That's it. And they won the game.
Honestly, I think the Eagles have a handful next week because that Commanders defense is pretty crazy. I think they'll definitely be very, very challenging. Jalen Hurts, I don't think he'll be able to recover in time. I mean, he'll be starting, of course, but he will be a little hobbled. And Jaden Daniel looks freaking amazing. So again, I am very impressed with the Rams. I don't like moral victories. Like me, like I don't think even though we lost, this is a good loss. I don't believe in all that stuff. But the Rams definitely do have a good future. if the defense stays the way it is, because it was so good the last 2 games, they are literally just a running back away. I think that's all they need, a good, strong running back.
And we lost one of our rookie defensive player, Frisk, who went out in the second quarter for the game. That hurt us a lot too, because I mean, if you look at that run by Saquon, that's where he was supposed to be there too, and he wasn't there anymore. So that's the thing he got hurt. So, but yeah, man.
Yep.
Still getting over it, man.
All right, next game, the big game, the Bills and the Ravens. This was a crazy game. I had the Ravens winning it. You had the Bills.
Yeah.
And this was what it lived up to, the hype it lived up to.
We were talking about
Obviously,
it, bro.
we know the big misplay by Mark Andrews in the 2-point conversion to tie the game. He drops the ball, and Lamar Jackson did not have a good game at all. He had that really, really, really bad fumble. I don't know what he was doing there. He had a really bad interception as well. So where do you go with this, man? Like with the Ravens, do you blame it on Lamar? Do you blame it on Andrews? Is it just conditions? What do you think will happen here?
The thing is this, right? It's not the conditions, because Baltimore plays in that condition as well.
Exactly.
So you can't really say the condition, right? But if you go look at that play that Mark Andrews caught that ball, right? I'm talking about that fumble that he had, right?
Yeah. I don't know what he was doing there.
Why did he go towards the defender when he could have he already got that first down, go straight to the touchdown line?
Not even that. Just get down. Just you got the first down. Get down. Well, why are you trying to juke out a defender when you're tight end? You're not Travis Kelce. You're not Gronk. I didn't get that.
And then at the same time, man, this is not on Mark Andrews. To be honest, people are making it seem like it. I mean, why did Lamar throw that interception in the first quarter?
Yeah.
I mean,
Lamar did not look good first quarter. I mean, first half, honestly. He had a fumble. He had that weird fumble, and then he had the interception. And then they also showed that they had run the same Mark Andrews play twice before, the same exact play to go for a 2-point conversion. Once against Green Bay, I forget what other team it was the second time, and they both failed. So they were hoping third time to town.
But that play was actually good. I think I think the execution wasn't there. The play was perfect because he was just gonna go back to touchdown. That's all it was. Perfect. But at the same time, man, Lamar, this is the same thing that we talked about when the season started, when Lamar and Derrick Henry, right? The thing that Lamar needs to understand, that it's not all about him, right? Like, he needs to let Derrick Henry run the ball. That 2-point conversion prior to it, why throw the ball? They cannot. Dude, you have the ball at like the 4-yard line or 2-yard line. Why not just give King Henry the ball and let him just run through the whole thing? Like, why throw the ball?
And I'm glad you mentioned that drive, because that was a drive where they literally rushed the entire drive down the field. They didn't even throw the ball once.
And it was all
They drove it down inside, all the way at Derrick Henry, and then I think the other running back, Hill. They ran it down, not one after one, and then they got the touchdown. And then for some reason, they started for a 2-point conversion, they throw it. Like, why? You literally just ran down the entire field, running it down their throats, and then now you're going to throw the ball.
It's like a Pete Carroll move right there. A Pete Carroll move. Instead of running the ball with, Marshawn Lynch, just let's throw it, right? Yeah. Dude, honestly, this game, that's what I'm saying. The thing is this. As a Ravens fan, I can understand that you can point to Mark Andrews. He's the one who made the critical mistakes and you lost that game.
It shouldn't have been that conversion. Yeah.
It shouldn't. First of all, look, that 2-point conversion, it's a coin toss, right? First of all, it shouldn't have been a 2-point conversion if you would have converted the prior one. Right? They had to go back-to-back 2-point conversion because they missed on the first one, And so the thing is this, and at the same time, I mean, I understand. Like, okay, look, if you look at that that fumble that Mark Andrews had, that was a smart play by that defender. He just punched it out, right? And the thing is this, in that situation, as an offensive player, you don't expect that, right? But it was a perfect punch if you look at it,
Oh, yeah.
And so it's just, you can't blame that. I mean, the thing is this, it wasn't where they recovered it on the Ravens side of it, right? Or the other side of it, actually, on their side of it. It was right in the middle of the field. They could have defended it, and they could have not let them score a touchdown, right? So, I mean, I understand Lamar.
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely chances for them. I think Mark Andrews, obviously being a veteran that he is, and he also just came back, I think, mid-season because he was injured also.
Yeah.
So, I would say this loss is definitely on Lamar, and it does affect him because this was the best team Lamar could have had in the postseason. Minus Zay Flowers, right? I know he didn't play.
They're talking about that more, yeah.
You have King Henry. You have the defense is amazing this year, much better than last year. You have the receivers out there. Bateman looked really good. Likely is good too. So he had the most complete. He had the better team, honestly. Josh Allen, he's throwing it. He's like Tom Brady. He's throwing the bums out there, honestly.
No, I agree with you.
Besides Shakir, everyone else is kind of just okay, and he's making it happen, right? And when a lot of times Lamar and Josh Allen smartly is doing it himself with his feet. He had 2 touchdowns, I think, with his feet, right? So
look,
this definitely is on Lamar.
I can see the common thing the 2 games yesterday, which are amazing games, had in common, man. 2 games had in common was both teams had a chance to either win the game or tie the game.
Yeah, they shot themselves.
I mean, like, as a Rams fan, I can feel that, man, because we should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Ravens fan, you should have tied that game up.
It was right there, dude. Like, literally, he caught the ball. It was in his chest, and it fell out. I mean, I remember I was driving to dinner, and I was like, oh, like I saw the throw happen, and I saw Mark Andrews fall. I'm like, oh, they won. They got it. And then my wife's like, no, like it's a no no catch. I'm like, what the heck? How do you drop that?
Yeah. And also, this is what I mean, Tapas, when I say this. Home field matters, right? And I feel that
I think so, man. These 2 games should tell you it doesn't.
The thing is this, man. Like, for example, that second game, right? If this was in Baltimore, they would be more comfortable, right? Their home field, and like.
No, dude. No, I'm not gonna give you that one, dude. This is why home field does not matter. Both of these teams had a chance to win this game. If it was home field, it would be like the Chiefs and Texas game. That's a true home field game.
That's true. Okay.
Right. Besides that, the rest of the 3 games, Lions, Eagles, and Bills winning it, home field did not matter for them.
Yeah, that's true.
But honestly, the Rams looked more comfortable in the snow than the Eagles did. And then the Ravens looked also more comfortable than the Bills did but they were just making bad plays. They all shot themselves in the leg.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they both did. They both had that game, man. They both did what Commanders did opposite of. Commanders went for the kill. They went for the kill. They didn't give a shit.
Going to that game, that was my biggest surprise. I could never have foreseen. And I know I was very confident about the Vikings beating the Eagles. The Rams.
Who predicted that?
But I was never in a million years thought the Lions would lose to the Commanders.
Who picked?
And
who picked Commanders?
You correctly picked it. I will give you that. Jared Goff, 3 again, and I was telling you, he had a bad day to have a bad day. 3 interceptions. The defense just would. I mean, you can tell that the Lions were getting lucky and they were winning their games, and they were just outscoring opponents. But their defense, when they really needed them, the defense completely backfired on them. 45-31, man. The score says it all. It wasn't even close, honestly.
You know what's so sad, Tapas? I wish you would have put that clip up like before that game even happened, because everyone started using that meme about Cancun, and I told you that whole story, right? So I told my friend about that story, right, prior to the game, and then he thought that I got it from somewhere, and I'm like, and honestly, I did not. When we were generally talking about, Dan Campbell, and I was like, oh, okay, Ramshaw took it the wrong way, this way, but it was funny though. Everyone's talking about it, right? See you in 2 weeks in Cancun. That's all it is. But look, man, when it came down to it, the breakdown of this this matchup, I've seen Jared Goff, man, for 4 or 5 years.
It wasn't his fault, though. I know 3 interceptions were bad, but it was not his fault. This game was on. The defense is no.
Look, doesn't matter how the defense was. This game, I'll tell you right now, Tapas, I understand what you're saying, but this game, both defense didn't kind of show up. They both gave up points. It wasn't a defensive game. It only became a defensive game when Jared Goff actually threw to the wrong. He became a Dak Prescott, or or let me say it right, a Dak Prescott. Before you come back at me, and so before he becomes Dak, and throws it to the wrong team. I'll tell you right now, Washington's defense didn't show up. Nor did Lions defense show it up, right? They're both, okay, Tapas, if you look at it, they're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? The only difference was Jaden Daniels threw no interceptions. Jared Goff, on the other hand, threw 3 or 4 interceptions. And out of the 3 or 4 interceptions, they converted 2 touchdowns. And that's where the game opened up, right? Imagine if Jared Goff didn't throw those interceptions, right? If we take it out,
But
it'll be back and forth, back and forth, back and
second,
forth. But the thing
no,
is this, man.
second quarter, like they had 28 points. They had 4 touchdowns in the second quarter. The Washington Commanders did. Like that's the defense's fault.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, I mean, Jared Goff needs to be smart about it. Cannot taking the risk and throw those interceptions.
Yeah.
He was trying to he was trying to do a home run plays.
Yeah.
You know, and
they get desperate.
And why do you? Well, why? The game is still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
even though like they were down by what 31-21 at the half by 10 points. It was still like, the Lions have a chance. They can get back in this game pretty quickly, and they had the opening score, and they made it close. And after that, it just never happened.
Interception, boom, 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 boom. Dude, Jared Goff, believe it or not, when the moment becomes bigger, last year they're up by 17 against 49ers. Why you can't close the game? I mean, those are small stuff, right? When the game gets big, Jared Goff becomes shuffle feet, and he panics. He needs to make a play. He needs to make a play. That's what he does. He starts shuffling. He starts like, oh my God, I got to throw this, you know? So, I mean, I knew, okay, look, this is what I said. Remember, to break this game down, I said that the Commanders needs to jump on them in offensively.
Yeah.
Make them think. And they start scoring. Remember I said if Jaden Daniels can prove that he can score on the Lions, the Lions are done. Because Lions always live by the fact that we'll outscore you, and our defense will frustrate you. And their defense didn't show up in the end, you know? And so, and I hear all these people, like Detroit people, are saying that they had 7 to 14 players on IR or injured list or whatever the case. That's 7, I don't know how many players, right? You're playing the number 6 seed. You don't need those players.
Yeah. I'm
sorry.
Because the whole year they had injuries, right? Hutchinson went out way early in the year, and they still won 15-2 with the same team essentially.
They beat Minnesota.
In fact, for this game, they got back. Yeah, they got back to one of the best running backs, right? So they were actually healthier going into this game than the last few weeks. So yeah, I don't believe that. I mean, obviously I know they're down, but they have a bunch of players on IR. But if that was the case, they wouldn't go 15-2.
Exactly.
It would be 13-4 or whatever, right? So, this was a bad loss for the Lions. I feel for them because this was my little underdog team that I really wanted the Lions to win it all because because that city, cocky, man. The city,
they're all that. Why?
But they don't talk that much, honestly. The coach is just like, I mean, again, I know the coach says a bunch of things, but the city has gone through so much. It's like a Cinderella story for them. You know, they were irrelevant for so many years. Before that, they were irrelevant for 20, 30 years. And now all of a sudden they're the best team in the division, one of the most competitive divisions in the league, honestly. They're the best team there. I really wanted, and in the way that how badly the Rams did to Jared Goff, how dirty they did them. Honestly, the Rams.
Okay, hold on.
The Lions are probably also laughing too because now the Rams are also in Cancun too.
What?
The Lions are probably laughing too because the Rams are also going to Cancun with them. So, the way
who's supposed to be in Cancun?
Speaking of Cancun, the way Sean McVay went to go get Matthew Stafford and allure him away from Detroit by having the same vacation area as him, and then they end up being buddies, and then he ended up coming to the Rams after. Right?
Okay, hold on. Do you know that was a year, right? That was the off season where Detroit told Matthew, right, that thank you for everything, and we will trade you to any team you would like, and just let us know which team you want to go to. That was the off season that Detroit said it. So technically, he was flirting with knowing that Detroit knows about it, right? And look, I don't know if
it was tampering too, because technically he shouldn't be doing that.
It's tampering when the other team doesn't allow it.
Well, yeah, but this is before the free agency signings can happen. So you can't talk to player before free agency signings happen.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying. I mean, this is still considering that the team is okay to do that. And then I don't know what happened in Mexico and where they felt that they needed to get Matthew Stafford.
Did. Yeah, it wasn't a coincidence. I can tell you that. So, I'm just saying that's why that was my little team that I was really hoping for, because the Lions have gone through so much. And I know Detroit, that poor city, has gone through a lot themselves. and to have the Lions be back where they are now. I mean, they'll be back next year. I think they'll be all right.
No, they won't
with
be.
the full squad.
They will not be. I'll tell you that right now. They won't be. And I'll tell you one thing right now, man. For you to say that Rams are joining them in Cancun, let me ask you a question. Who is supposed to be in Cancun and who is not?
Hey, everybody's gonna be in Cancun besides one team.
No,
and for me, that was the Ravens. That was gonna be so. Everyone's gonna be in Cancun eventually.
exactly. But I'm just saying Detroit is not supposed to be out this early. That's all.
So, I mean, that happens everywhere, dude. But everyone's gonna. It's just they happen to go the same week now. So probably Dan Campbell meant, I'll see Sean McVay in Cancun as well. That's what he meant too. So
look at you, fucking hating my Rams. Look at this. Look at this.
I guess the one thing that may deter the Lions from coming back is their offensive coordinator Ben Johnson going to the Bears now as the head coach. This is huge because Ben Johnson before has said, I don't want to. I'm good in Detroit. I don't want to go anywhere else. But now I think with the way the season ended disappointingly, he is going to the Bears. What do you make of this, man? Caleb Williams,
just wait, bro.
High fire. I know, a good offensive coordinator, now head coach. What do you think?
Look, I've seen it firsthand. Jared Goff was a bum with Jeff Fisher. Sean McVay comes in, who was an offensive coordinator. He was like more of a quarterback's coach, became offensive coordinator later on, but turned Jared Goff into who is he now, right? Mm-hmm. So I hope, Williamson, turns his career around, because right now, if I'm Chicago Bears watching this playoffs, how do you swallow your beer or even sit peacefully when you had a chance to pick up Jaden Daniels and you chose Caleb, right?
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels is one victory away from going to Super Bowl, right? How do you sit comfortably if you're Chicago Bears? You had the option. You chose Caleb. So it's good. Look, man, I'll tell you right now, if Jaden Daniels makes a Super Bowl, dude, I will feel bad for Chicago organization and Caleb Williams. Because the thing is this, ask my second favorite team, the Cowboys, who have not even sniffed a championship game. Not the Super Bowl, a championship game. They have not sniffed it since 96 or something, or 95, whatever the case.
95.
It's hard to even get. It's hard to even get to the championship game. Forget the Super Bowl. So if Jaden Daniels makes the Super Bowl, I don't know. But look, Ben Johnson, he's been getting a lot of credit of what Detroit is all about. I feel that, that credit should have been divided for Ben Johnson and Jared Goff. Jared Goff was a good player, man, when he went to Detroit. He wasn't a scrub. He played well under Sean McVay, right? He threw those, 300, 400-yard passes. Like, Jared Goff knows how to throw. So Ben Johnson threw in his system, his scheme, how he wants it to be done. So that's great, So I'm just hoping that, he goes to Chicago and, develops Caleb the right way and give that confidence that he needs and become that player that even I hope for that he would be. So, but I'll tell you right now,
my biggest surprise for this is Ben Johnson going to a division rival.
Really?
Right? Detroit Lions going to the Bears. Right?
Yeah.
That's because the thing about Ben Johnson is that his offensive schemes are very unconventional. Like there's a bunch of trick plays that he pulled even in the game yesterday
against Chicago,
on Saturday.
Against Chicago,
yeah, and like you just never see it, and so he's unorthodox. So I wonder what Dan Campbell does in replacing him, because I think that is a huge loss to their offense. Ben Johnson was a mastermind behind how he made some of these players look better than they really are, like Jared Goff maybe, but. Going to a division rival is also huge too. Now you have to face them, and Ben Johnson knows how Dan Campbell coaches and how that defense works too. So that might be a deterrent for them too.
I'm also surprised because if you look at that, that game, right? Commanders versus Lions, Tom Brady was commentating that game, and Tom Brady is a partial owner of the Raiders, and he did not criticize Ben Johnson at all. He didn't even bring up Ben Johnson at all in that game. So he was also a candidate for Raiders, and I'm surprised that he didn't choose the Raiders and went to Chicago. But again, it makes sense why Chicago, because they have a young QB that they just drafted and he can do more with. But again, I don't make too much about going to the rival because I don't consider Detroit and Chicago even a rival. I mean, yeah, I mean they're good, right? Detroit's good right now, but I'll tell you right now, man. Going back to the point I made with Sean McVay, right? Like all of his assistant coach and defensive coach leaving to become head coach. You know, that chemistry that you built with those coaches, you got to build it again with new ones, right? You know, that defensive scheme or the offensive scheme, you know, you got to do it all over again. So that's what I'm trying to say. I think Lions will have a tough time next year. Watch, because not only are they going to lose their offensive, not only did they already lose their offensive coordinator, but I do feel the defensive coordinator is going to be gone too. He's really, you know, covered it in this league too.
Yeah.
And so he's the next one in line to be gone too. And so replacing your offensive and defensive coordinator at the same time, man, I don't see how strong you could become. Sorry. I mean,
the team's still kind of loaded, though. I think in that division, because I don't see the Vikings doing what they did again this year. Like, I don't think they'll go 14-3.
We don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. Yeah, I agree.
And then I don't think the Packers, Jordan Love isn't it. So I think the Lions be all
Jordan
right.
Love can win you games, right? And that's the only thing, right? See, it's not about Jordan Love. Like I agree with you. It's not about Jordan Love who is he as a player, but I feel like they can win games. And I think going into next year, I think Green Bay will win that division over Lions, if I have to say it right now. If they lose both of their coordinators, because Green Bay has that chemistry and Detroit won't. And like now Jared Goff's gonna have a new offensive scheme, new offensive system. And let's see how he settles down with that, you know?
I feel like Jordan Love took a step back this year versus the previous year. So I think, you know, especially in the playoffs. So
yeah, he only had 1 year.
I don't know.
He only had 1 year or two, and people made him the GOAT. So
I know exactly. So it's like Brock Purdy. You know, he may have plateaued. I don't know if he's gonna get any better from now.
Yeah.
Versus was that the best we saw, and then because he's kind of a veteran too. He's not a rookie, even though it's his second year starting. But he's been in the league for a very long time, right? So, like, you know, sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, he didn't learn much because Aaron Rodgers wouldn't make some of the plays that he was. You know, like it's that's why I think with Jordan Love, I don't understand is that if you are behind one of like the greats of all time, right, with Aaron Rodgers, he should have been a sponge and learned a lot of stuff, what not to do, what to do. Even though Aaron Rodgers is a dick, he still could have learned a lot of things, you know, behind him, and he didn't. So,
% I agree.
All right, and in the last game, and this probably we won't talk about it too much, but Chiefs and Texans. This was not really that close, honestly. The Chiefs just blowing them out by 9, but it didn't seem like a close game at all.
Easiest matchup.
Yeah, easy matchup for them. I think you know there were some controversial plays. I don't know if you saw that, but the refs giving them the out, and then even D'Amico Ryan after the post conference where he said, you know, I know it was us against everyone, and I think he was insinuating it was going to be them against the Chiefs and the refs because they know the refs are on the Chiefs side too. So that was the big controversy in that game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I saw both of that plays they're talking about the two players hitting.
They were BS.
Look, man, it's gonna happen, right? I mean, you got to deal with it. I mean,
it's happened the whole year, man. Like it's one thing that happens in a random game, but like it seems like every single game the Chiefs have played, there's always a questionable like that's not really.
But you know what? Even if it didn't happen, Houston wasn't gonna win that game.
But it was close enough, right? The Texans made it close.
Yeah.
And then that BS penalty that Mahomes got with roughing the passer, which was not roughing the passer.
Yeah.
That's what sealed it.
Yeah, I agree. And so I mean,
yeah, I don't know. But I mean, again, it's but the Texans were just we're not going to be competitive enough to win that game, honestly, I think.
Exactly. That's why I still felt that Chiefs would have pulled it out, even though they made it close.
For sure.
And so they were still gonna pull that. It was I felt like Chiefs were just playing, just going through the motion, you know. But in the end, I knew what was gonna happen, you know, and it's just like.
All right, well, let's get into this weekend's games. We got the Commanders and the Eagles playing at noon in Philly. Philly is favored by 6.5 points. I'm not sure what the status of Jalen Hurts is going to be. He's probably going to be a little shaky. They are showing that it's going to be just cold, but no snow this time.
Yeah.
On Sunday at least.
It wouldn't have mattered because in DC it snows too, so they're out. They're used to playing.
Yeah, they'll be okay. Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna be that guy. I think the Commanders win it, dude. I think the Commanders win.
So you're that guy that named Kenil from last week? Okay, all right, cool.
Commanders surprised me a lot more than the Eagles did this past week.
Okay, look, man. Look, I'll be so happy if Commanders win. I freaking hate the Eagles.
I want Jaden Daniels to be in the Super Bowl now. I want him to.
Like, I am rooting for Commanders, dude. But the thing is this, man. They're one game away from Super Bowl, right? The Eagles, I'm talking about. The thing is this.
And you like to make a big deal about them beating them in the regular season. Commanders did beat the Eagles in the regular season too.
They did. The last game. Not last game, but
Second
towards
last
the end.
game, yeah.
Towards the end of the game. Was Jalen Hurts playing that game or was it the backup?
That's the game where he got the concussion.
Yeah, concussion, right? So he went out. See, the thing is this, right, man? My buddy, you know, who works with me, he's a huge Commanders fan, right? And Commanders were doing so well in the beginning of the season, right? They were like 6-1 or 7-2, whatever the case it were. And there was a Thursday night game, right? And I think we talked about it on the podcast, where it was, you know, it was Washington versus Philly in the Thursday night game. And that was the first primetime game that Jay and Daniel was going to play in, right? And so the thing I brought up was sometimes the game is the stage is bigger than the player, right? And I don't feel that Jaren Daniel is ready for the stage, which is one game away from Super Bowl. All he's going to hear is that you're one game away from the Super Bowl, right? It's different saying that, hey, you're one game away from a championship game. That's not a big deal, you know? You make it or don't make it, whatever the case. But now it's all for all the marbles. Making the Super Bowl, right? Like, man, I want Commanders to win. I'm rooting for them. Like, my heart tells me Commanders, come on, let's do this, you know? But Eagles being a veteran team, Saquon never been there. Jalen Hurts and, you know, Jalen Carter, all of them been there 2 years ago. They got that feeling that, hey, they're one game away from that Super Bowl. And they know they're a better team, better record, home field. Eagles gonna win this game. I don't even. I to be honest with you, the game is gonna be so big for Jalen Daniels and the players from Commanders that this game is not gonna be close. To be honest,
See,
I think this game is gonna be big.
I disagree with you there.
That's the only thing.
The bigger game for Jaden Daniels was this last weekend. You're going against a titan of a team of the Lions. They had a -9 going into that.
I agree.
Right, the biggest in a while.
I agree.
And completely blew them out.
I agree.
Jaden Daniels looked so like I think that was his coming out game, where he's like, I'm gonna get this done. I think if the Commanders defense shows up as it did this past weekend in certain plays, and Jalen Hurts is iffy, right? I mean, he's not gonna be 100% healthy, but if he's a little iffy, and I do feel like Dan Quinn can do a better job of holding Saquon Barkley down better than the Rams did. I think the Commanders will win this game.
The only thing I have confidence, like the only confidence I have is what you just nailed on, and that is Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's been to Super Bowl. He took a team that had no experience to Super Bowl, which is Atlanta Falcons, right? And so that's my only thing. I'm so confident in Dan Quinn because he's the one who took that team to Super Bowl, even though they lost the Super Bowl. That's a different story. Mm-hmm. But he took Atlanta Falcons with Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and all those people to Super Bowl, right? And they had no experience being in that era, in that situation either. And I think they beat Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that, you know? And so, but the only thing was that game was in Atlanta, I think.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is, that's the thing. I have confidence in the coach, you know, Dan Quinn. I think he'll get them ready. But I just feel that, you know, going back to that Thursday night game, the game was so big for Jalen Daniels. It was a Thursday night game. He couldn't even he couldn't complete passes. He couldn't even throw for yardage. It was in Washington too, by the way. That Thursday night game was in Washington. It was middle of the season. And like, he couldn't even, that was the biggest game of his, you know? This is going to be even bigger one because this is a one game away from going to the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. And think about it, man. Like, it's just sometimes you got to either be ready and have it, or you're just going to get crushed in that pressure, right?
He went into Detroit and won that game.
I agree. I agree.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I know.
Like that, I think, is a big accomplishment.
But this guy, but Philly has like number 1 rushing defense, number 1 secondary defense. Like they're like they're like.
I mean, the rushing, I mean, and the Commanders are number 3 in rushing. So, like, I mean, sorry, passing defense. So
exactly,
they'll be able to hold AJ Brown and probably Jalen Hurts too, but they can contain Saquon in some way, right? I think that's the biggest thing because the secondary for the Commanders is better. So I think, and again, Jalen Hurts is a little hurt, so I think he will not be as effective, and so they just got to find a way to stop Saquon and not have those breakout runs. And I think Jaden Daniels will be very, very calm and cool.
If they can take,
like what Lamar should have been.
Yeah, if they can take some little stuff from Packers game and something from Rams game together and put it together, they'll be good to go, man. They'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But like I said, man, I want Commanders to win so bad, man. But
yeah,
I do think
I just want some. I want some history being done here, man. I want like a rookie to go to the Super Bowl. That would be so freaking amazing. I don't know when's the last time that's happened, honestly, but like that would be so cool to see. But and what better rookie than this guy?
I will tell you one thing, man. Like this is going back to like even last year. That I have a lot of friends, who Commanders fans because I work with, people who work in DC area. And the one thing I told them is that they're in good hands with this new ownership, right? They're in good hands and they'll make them back into contender. So I'll tell you one thing, man. If the reason I have little confidence in Jaden Daniels that who might come through is because Magic is going to be his ear. And Magic did this back in 79 when he was a rookie. And they went to the finals. He played all 5 positions, and they won against the Sixers. And he was the only rookie, to come and win that game. Became a champion, right? And so Magic knows what it takes to beat that, And so that's another thing he has on Jaden Daniels has on his side that he has Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is very vocal. He's very communicative, and so he's gonna be in his ear and kind of give him that confidence that, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what you're gonna do. Let's go. I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think that's gonna help a lot too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Having that mentorship, that a person who's been there and done it, because Magic did it his rookie year. He took a team to the finals and won the whole thing. So that's another thing too.
And I do feel like the way Sirianni is, he will underestimate this Commanders team.
Just like Dan Campbell, I know.
Yeah, he will underestimate this team. Yeah. So I think because now I was like, oh yeah, we beat the Commanders. They're in a division. They're not that good. We can beat them. And like I think this is gonna be the thing that like we'll get to them. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles win. Obviously, they are heavily favored in this match.
Exactly, man.
But I personally think the Commanders will find a way to win this game. Do something that the Rams and the Packers couldn't do. They beat the Joshi brothers, both of them.
Get out of here! Get out of here, dude! Get out of here! Oh my God!
And then our buddy, it's like with him, right? Our buddy who's a Philly fan. It's like ESPN. Like, after the Patriots would lose, I can't watch ESPN for a whole week, right? And so, or when Tampa Bay lost to you guys.
Same here, man.
I can't. So I can't go on his Instagram. I can't watch any stories. I don't do. I just avoid it because I know it's gonna be just nonstop. Even though I picked the Eagles to win this last game, I still can't watch it because the Philly fans are just something else. If you go to Philly, like Barstool, one of the sites that he sent, they're just all whining like nobody likes us. Why does everybody hate the Philly fan? Blah blah. It's like they're just all whining little babies, man. I just don't get it. That's why Philly fans are so hated, and that's why I'm glad that the Rams player Vance, I think it was his name, he was calling them out.
Verse.
Yeah, Verse. Sorry, Verse. And he was just calling him out, like, come on, I can't hear you. And he had a really good game. He had a freaking amazing game. So he was backing it up, too, while he was there.
He had 2 sacks and, 3 knockouts and everything's crazy.
He was letting him hear it, dude. Number 8.
Jared Verse, man. I love him, dude. I love him.
And he's a rookie, too, right?
Yes, yeah, dude.
Oh, man. He's got a bright future.
Oh, man.
All right. Then the second game we have is the Bills and the Chiefs. Woo! It's going to be in Kansas City.
Dang.
Chiefs are favored by 2 only. Bills did beat them in that early. The only loss that before the Broncos lost, the only loss the Chiefs had in the whole year was against the Bills. Not saying that it mattered because I don't believe in that stuff. Like I told you, Ravens versus Bills, whoever wins that game will be the Super Bowl champion. So I'm gonna pick the Bills in this game.
Remember we had our early predictions in the beginning of the football season who's gonna win the Super Bowl, and I said the Chiefs will three-peat. Look, man. Chiefs are looking good, man. Are looking good, and they also have the backing of the refs. I love Josh Allen, man. That's the guy I always rooted for. I was like, man, this guy is just an incredible player. Like, I just love everything about him, right? The way he plays, right? And so I really need him to beat this goddamn Casey. I really feel this, man. If they lose against the Chiefs, I don't know how he's going to recover. He's going to be 0-4. Against him in the playoffs. Like, what confidence do you have? And as much as I want Josh Allen to make it to Super Bowl, man, I'm still gonna stick with my, my original pick.
You can
Casey,
go safe. You can go Chiefs, huh?
Casey,
Man.
3P, man. They're gonna do.
So
They're gonna do what no NFL team, even the GOAT himself, has not done, and
right.
that he's gonna 3P this, and I know they are going to do it, man.
So you think it'd be Chiefs against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and they beat the Eagles?
It'll be a rematch again for 2 years ago, man.
Yeah.
It will be.
Damn. And here I am thinking that it'd be Bills and Commanders in the Super Bowl.
And the thing is this, right, man? Because look, I want Josh Allen to play well. It's in Arrowhead, man,
but Josh Allen is a completely different player now. He does not make those same mistakes that he did in the past. Like, he does not have the bad turnovers. He does not have it, and he hasn't had it the whole year. That's why he's MVP potentially, right? Because of how safe he's been with the ball, because how a few interceptions he's thrown, he's not forcing anymore.
No, I agree.
He's running it so much more effectively. He knows when to run it for himself. That's why I think the Chiefs are not ready for what's about to come to them.
The only way Bills wins if Chiefs beat themselves. If that makes any sense to you. The only reason why Joe Burrow was able to win that game is not because of what Joe Burrow and Cincinnati Bengals did, but I don't know if you remember that play. It was end of the second quarter almost. It was like when clock was winding down, and it was like 3rd and goal or 4th and goal on a 2-yard line where they could have just ran it in, but I think he decided to throw it to Tyreek Hill, and he dropped the pass, and the clock runs out. No timeout. They could have scored that play. They could have put Cincinnati away that game, before the half. They didn't. Cincinnati had life coming back in second half, right? That's why I'm just telling you, if Casey can beat themselves by making those stupid mistakes, I feel Bills can win this game. But man, this is gonna be tough.
Yeah.
The thing is this, man. Like now I know how people feel like as a Laker fan when I'm like, oh yeah, against Denver, man, it's gonna be a different story, different freaking story. No, man, same story. We're gonna get swept. This time we won one game. Buy it. Okay, whatever. So I don't know, man. I really want Bills to win. I really want Josh Allen to like come out and just beat the shit out of, Mahomes. But do you see Travis Kelce showing up now?
He showed up.
He's showing up now. All of a sudden he was gone for the whole year and now he's showing up, right?
But the Texans did a really bad job of covering him. Honestly, there were so many plays where he was like wide. I'm like, how is the greatest tight end of all time wide open in center field?
Exactly.
I don't understand that.
I
don't think the Buffalo Bills make the same mistake.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I like I said, I'm going for Bills. I'm like same thing with Commanders, man. My heart's saying Bills. Let's do this. Come on, I like Josh Allen, man. That's the one guy I want him to make the Super Bowl. And now also right now, if Josh Allen is against Eagles, oh my god, the whole country's going for Josh Allen.
Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is this, man. If Chiefs make it and Eagles make it, I don't know who the hell people are going to root for because nobody likes any of those teams,
No one likes them, but I think people hate the Chiefs more.
I don't know, man. To be honest with you,
I think people will refer to will have to swallow the pride and go for the Eagles. I mean, if that was the case, like if it's Chiefs against Eagles, I will definitely pick the Eagles.
Like look, take it a grain of salt. Like Pat Mahomes reminds me of Michael Jordan and being in an Eastern Conference. No one's getting through him, man. I'm sorry. It's like Tom Brady all over again. No one's getting through him. Like you'll have one of those years where Peyton Manning made it, or Joe Flacco made it. Like, how many QBs made Super Bowl when Tom Brady was playing in New England? I'm telling you, Joe Flacco was one, Peyton Manning twice because with Indianapolis and Broncos, right? Okay, then who else? Who else? No one did. Who else made it?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what he's doing again. He reminds me of Tom Brady in that case that you can't pass him, dude. Like the game was always in Gillette Field, man. No one can beat this Eagles team. Like, I mean, sorry, New England. No one could beat them, man. People always felt that because, dude, you knew how good Indianapolis was at that time too. Peyton Manning and all them bad boys like Harrison and all them. Like they're good, and they still couldn't get past them. The only reason I think Indianapolis even made the Super Bowl is because Tom Brady tore his ACL, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And he had to be injured for the whole year for them to make the Super Bowl. You know?
Right.
I don't know, man. You get what I'm saying? He's very dominant.
Yeah. No, I know. They have been very dominant. Don't get me wrong. For sure, the Chiefs have been very, very dominant.
Controls the game, man. I've never seen a game manager.
He just has
until Tom Brady retired, a game manager like that, dude. I'm telling you, he takes care of the game like he toys with people. I'm sorry.
Right. but he hasn't looked good though. Like he hasn't looked dominant. You know, I mean, he had hit only 177 passing yards
The
last
thing is
game,
this: he doesn't want to play
one
dominant, man.
touchdown.
He doesn't care to be dominant. He knows he can
No,
win.
I know, but like, against because you're not playing a Texan again. Like that's the thing. Like the
How
Texans
dominant?
are
How dominant do you
nowhere.
think Jokic is? Does he look dominant to you, Jokic, when he plays?
Yeah,
Jokic?
brother. He said I was triple double. Of
No,
course
no,
he
no,
is
no, no. When you
dominant.
see Jokic as a
Yeah.
player,
No, but
he
see,
toys with
Jokic
people, man. He
will
toys
put
with
up.
people.
No, I know. He told people, but he'll put up 30 and 15. Pat Mahomes will still only have one touchdown at the
But
end of the day.
he'll do the other
It's not
shit
making it
though.
like easy, and then
He will do other shit though.
then he's
He'll run the
he's
ball.
flopping everywhere and all that
He'll
stuff. For
drop
sure, he's
people.
doing all that. Yeah, he's flopping everywhere and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But like I just don't. I think Pat Mahomes, he will have to have an amazing game this next game for them to win, because I think Josh Allen will have a good game against them, and I think Pat Mahomes will have to go in Superman. If he does, then yes, for sure the Chiefs will win this game. But if he shows up how he has showed up this whole year, because he has not looked good this whole year, Pat Mahomes has, I think the Bills will win this one easily.
order for Bills to win, man. I'll tell you right now. Order for Bills to win. This is my opinion. Order for Bills to win. What Commanders did to Detroit, jump on them like crazy and take that big lead.
Yeah.
If the game is close, Bills are not winning this.
Yeah. You cannot have a close game going to the fourth.
You gotta have that 10-point cushion just to kind of be there
for sure.
You know, you cannot be even a touchdown away from this team. If the game is close, I'm telling you right now, put it away, Bills. They're done.
No, I will give you that. Yeah, if it's a close game going into the fourth, one score game, whatever, then yeah, I think the Bills have a very low chance, because the Chiefs will find a way to win that game, and they will find a way to have the ball control. So they have to jump on them early, because the way the Chiefs win the game is also they hold on to the ball for a very long time. They run the clock out.
They average like 7 minutes of possession.
Yeah,
they don't have the ball. So, like, dude,
they got to make sure they just score every single chance they get. At least even get a field goals and just be ahead of them every step of the way, and then make the Chiefs desperate.
Exactly. I agree with you.
So
I completely agree.
All right, well, I guess we got a Super Bowl matchup too. Potentially, you have the Chiefs against the Eagles, and I have the Commanders against the Bills. And out of that, of course, I had the Bills doing it all. So we shall see, man. Should be a good game.
It's gonna be a great weekend again. You know, great Sunday afternoon. It's gonna be a great Sunday afternoon, evening. You know, which would be awesome.
Yeah, man. All right, we have a little bit of time. You want to go through some basketball, or are you
I actually want to go through the baseball.
Yeah, go for it.
I just had a couple of signings. They had Roki, you know, the Japanese player, and they also had signed a reliever, Tanner Scott, you know, from the Padres. He was a number one free agent reliever out there. And then when I say that, number one, man, this guy is like shut up. Really, really good, you know? And Dodgers were able to get both of them. And let's go with first. There's a couple of teams were in it. Padres were in it, like Padres, Yankees, Blue Jays, Dodgers were all on a Roki. You know, they won a Roki service, right? And this guy's 23, so he was going to sign a minor league deal, and so he's really young. And people were saying that, you know, oh, he'll go to Padres with a Yu Darvish connection because he considers Yu Darvish like a, you know, like looks up to kind of guy, you know. And but we had, you know, Shohei, and we had Yamamoto, you know, pitching for us too, you know. So it's great. So in the end, I heard, you know, that he chose Dodgers because, you know, Shohei was able to close the deal for them, and also, you know, Yamamoto, you know. So it was a great addition, you know, getting him. He's only 23. He's supposed to be really, really good, and he's only starting off right now, man. So our rotation is, well, it's crazy. We won this World Series without pitching.
Yeah, I know. Okay. As I was saying, this pitching lineup is this bullpen can be crazy.
We won this World Series without pitching, and imagine with pitching. Like, I was telling my brother, who's a Yankee fan, I hate being cocky. I'm not being a cocky fan as a Dodger fan. I hate this, but how do you beat Dodgers in the playoffs? You'll beat them in the season because Dodgers doesn't care about the season. You know, they'll win. Dodgers will win between 90 and 110 games. They'll win that game. You know, they'll win the division again probably. If not, make the wild card. But once they get in the playoffs with this rotation, you know, like, how do you beat them? And on top of that, you brought all your returning starters back. You know, so. And then on top of that, you got a best reliever, Tanner Scott. You know, Padres gave up their number 2, number 4, and number 51 prospect to trade for him 2 years ago.
Wow. Holy
And
moly.
he left Padres now. He's with Dodgers. Tanner Scott, man. How do you do Tapas? Like, that's just insane, dude. I don't
The
know.
Dodgers are so stacked right now, man.
So yeah.
So like, I mean, with getting Sasaki, right? I mean, I think they're saying that he may not be like a dominant ace yet, but you think Shohei pitches because Sasaki should be okay too, right?
I mean, right now they have him as pitching. I think he
But
wants to
would they need
pitch.
to?
He doesn't need. We have so much depth right now
Yeah,
that he doesn't need to.
just save his arm.
Exactly, and so I mean, come on, man, you have so many pitchers, man.
Yeah.
Like it's
The
insane.
bullpen's amazing for the Dodgers, and now we got an ace in the closer, and then we also have like three legit aces in our starting pitching. Like,
You have four,
yeah, I
man.
don't know, man.
Four. You have
Four
four
potentially,
like
yeah.
aces. Like, there is a tweet by the ESPN baseball analyst, senior person, right? He's saying that the Dodgers, okay, some teams don't even have like three top Japanese pitchers, and Dodgers have all three.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. It's like, how do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do that?
Yamamoto's just gonna get better, right? And it's just like they're just gonna struggle. And Shohei will be able to just focus on batting the whole season. I think that's probably the smart move, honestly, because so he doesn't get hurt and miss any time in playoff.
Exactly.
And the Dodgers should really play this smart. Honestly, this is a stacked team.
I don't know, man. It's insane, dude. If you ask me, dude, it's like, how do you? I don't know, man. I'm just mind blown that Dodgers are able to acquire all these players. And like, there's teams out there that are mad but they can do the same thing. Everyone is fair in
Yeah,
game, man. It's not like Dodgers are not doing something like that's not it's like not
illegal.
heard of. Like everyone has
Yeah,
money. They can go spend the money. They can go defer all these contracts, but they're blaming that it's unfair playing field because the Dodgers are signing all these players. I mean, come on, man. Like, is it really? I mean,
yeah. I think the Dodgers just have a lot of confidence that they will make money, even though they deferred until the very end. And like you said, they already paid pretty much Shohei's contract in the 1 year that he's been there. Then versus having to wait a whole like 10 years to pay him, they've already been able to pay everything back already. So
they
um,
learned like this past year they made all their money back, man. And so
yeah,
it's crazy.
and they had even more sales and views and all that stuff in Japan. And it's hard to find an Otani jersey nowadays. That's how crazy it is in Dodgerland.
And they said that every time
Like,
people
it's
visit
so
from
crazy.
Japan, they go straight to Dodger Stadium to watch a game.
Yeah, yeah. They go in and out in Dodger Stadium. It's crazy, man.
I mean, look at the
But
rotation.
yeah, dude.
I mean, look at the rotation. Shohei Otani, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki.
Mhm.
My gosh, dude! Like, it's like
Yeah.
it's insane, man.
Do you think any more moves for Dodgers now? I think that we're pretty set, right? There's nothing else
Yeah,
we can do.
it's funny. Okay, so this is from
I'm really
Jeff.
glad we didn't get.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, this is a tweet that I was talking about from Jeff Passan from ESPN, right?
Mhm.
He's like, in a sport with fewer and fewer frontline starting pitcher, Dodgers have 5 with number 1 type stuff.
Yeah.
Let that
It's
sink into you,
crazy.
Tapas. Let that sink. Not all teams have number 1 pitchers, and Dodgers have all 5 of them, dude.
All 5. Crazy, man.
No, man.
Can't wait, dude. Cannot wait for the Dodger season to go. I've like I was talking to my wife, I'm like, we should go to at least 2 Dodger games next year, no matter what happens. We should
Yeah,
go
dude, let's
watch.
go, bro. If you're down to go, I'm down. Let's do it.
It'd be so sick.
Yeah, bro.
All
We
right,
got
well,
podcast from there, dude.
yeah, heck yeah. All right, well, we will call it there.
Exactly, man.
Should be another great weekend of football. We'll
Exactly.
find out what the Super Bowl matchup's going to look like. And we'll get you guys caught up on everything that happens after that, too. But
Hell
until
yeah,
then,
man.
Brown Balls out.